Hello, everybody. If you're coming back, welcome back. This is our first look at Tottenham since we left them 1 year ago. If you've here for the first time, you've just happened to stumble across this video. There are 61 videos before this. Go and look for the playlist, and you can see what we've done so far in the series. But either way, whether you're coming back or whether you're here for the first time, please leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe and hit the notification button. That way you can keep up to date with all the content that we'll be throwing out now before FM23 over the next couple of weeks. And then also when FM23 comes out, who we will be managing, and of course the beta save that we will be doing pretty much from day one of FM23. All I'll say is welcome. We made Tottenham Hotspurs again. Hello and welcome to episode 62. I was going to say 35 then, goodness knows why. Episode 62 of making, or shall I say, we made Tottenham Hotspurs again. My name's Mark, and on today's episode we have that 1 year roundup. So we've been away from Tottenham for 1 year. How did they get on after we left them? Remembering that we had won 8 bits of silverware in our final year with Tottenham, including the I'll go through them if you like: the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Europa League. Yeah, how does that? FA Cup, Carabao Cup, one was the Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Europa League. Did I say 8? I think it was 6 actually. I was telling lies. It was the 4 in this season, and then we won the UEFA Super Cup and the Community Shield. So 6. I'll tell a lie about 8. It would have been nice to have won 8, but we only won 6. Right, so we are back for our first look at how they got on without us. And we're going to come back to the Media Dream 11. The start of the season, they were expected to finish in a Champions League spot in 4th place. Behind Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea behind them. And, that was the expectation. Interesting to see that the Media Dream 11 had 2 Tottenham players, Upamecano and Mazzulia, both brought in our time with Tottenham. And as you can see, key players on there as well, Mazzulia and Harry Kane. Anybody else? Just looking down the list. See whether there's any other Tottenham players in there. Doesn't appear to be the case. So there we go. So that is how it all started out, as we would always do. If we go to the Premier League, can we go to the Premier League? What do I want to do here? Let's go back a stage. Right. The table then. This is how the table finished. Manchester City were champions. Arsenal was second. Weren't expected to be there, I don't think, were they? Manchester United 3rd. Chelsea 4th. Liverpool 5th. So Tottenham finished 2 places below where they were expected to. Didn't have such a good season, did they? Without us, 66 points, 38 games, 18 wins, 12 draws, lots of draws, and 8 losses, 62 goals for, 45 against, 17 plus 17 goal difference. A bit of a traverse from the previous season when they got 85 points, 118 goals for, 33 against, 85 goal difference, and only lost 2 matches in that season. So a bit of a drop in the overall there, as we will see. But as we always used to do, let's have a look at the split record then. Home record, Tottenham was 6th out of the season, and I'm trying to work out where the line is here because it's not easy to follow. 19 games, of course, 11 wins, 5 draws, and 3 losses at home this season, and they lost to Arsenal, Newcastle and Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, being the side that was always a bit of a nemesis for them throughout the season. 30 goals for, 18 against, a plus 12 goal difference, 38 points at home. On the road, they finished 6th. It should have been 5th then. I misread that, didn't I? 2, 4, 5th. Home record was they were 5th best team in the at home, and the 6th best team away from home. Arsenal, best team away from home. 19 games, of course. Only 7 wins on the road, 7 draws and 5 losses. Those 5 losses to Watford, Manchester City, Liverpool. So must have lost both games to Liverpool, Southampton, and a whammy against Chelsea. 32 goals for, only 32 goals for, 27 against, a plus 5, 28 points on the road this season. That is not good. First half of the season, 6th place, which is where they pretty much finished up. As we can see, 19 played, 9 games won, 6 draws, 4 losses. Those 4 losses, it won't tell us on here. 33 goals for, 26 against, plus 7 goal difference. 33 points in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, a little bit, well, no, pretty much the same actually. 33 points picked up, 9 wins, 6 draws, 4 losses, 29 for, 19 against, 10 goal difference. So a bit better in the second half. Didn't concede quite so many, didn't score so many, but didn't quite concede quite so many. The run-in was pretty poor run-in, actually, as you see, out of the last 5 games. 1-2, drawn 1, lost 2. So not that fantastic on that final run-in. And the media prediction, how did it stack up against the media prediction? As you'll see, expected to finish 4th, finished 6th. Manchester City were expected to win and did. And Arsenal, who were expected to finish 6th, finished 2nd. I'll leave you to look at that. And the media prediction for those teams going down, Watford, Middlesbrough and Ipswich down. Indeed, they did go down pretty much as predicted. Just out of note, the playoff game, Wolves and Fulham, hasn't been played, but just to see who's coming out of the Championship. Burnley and Brentford promoted from the Championship. Burnley as champions, Brentford as second place. And, of course, as I say, that last game to be played, Fulham versus Wolves, to see who is promoted from the playoffs. We'll check on that a little bit later. But going down out of the Championship, Queen's Park Rangers, Burton Albion and Reading. Right, we're here to see about Tottenham, though, aren't we? So get that to go back up, which I can. Let's have a look and see how Tottenham did. Let's go back into the Tottenham and as you'll see, they ended up playing a 5-2-1-2 wing-back formation. Galini in goal. We'll look at the transfers very shortly. Galini in goal, Skip, Sewell, Upamecano, Reguilon and Emerson Royal. Devine and Holzberger. Good to see Devine in there. He was coming through before we left. Lo Celso, Koeman and Abraham up front. No sign, I hasten to add. Oh, yeah, he is. Harry Kane's on the bench. So Casteels, Hernandez, Mazzulia, Kane, Lilich, Romero, and Nunez, Son, and Brian Gill on the bench. So couldn't fill the bench by the looks of it. I'm not sure why. There's players to be had to fill the bench, and obviously decided not to. Right. This is where we left them. That was the 4-1 win in the Community Shield, and then on penalties against Liverpool. They did go on to beat Manchester United again, having beaten them at Wembley in the Community Shield, beat them 2-1, 2 goals from Harry Kane in that one. Lost to Chelsea. That was the 3-0 win, loss to Chelsea. So a bit of a mediocre start, and then hit a real rocky patch, including the Champions League, which we'll come to in just a moment. Knocked out of the Carabao Cup as winners by Southampton by 2-0. That wasn't fantastic either. We didn't see who came in as manager. Who came in as manager? Pochettino came in. It was actually sacked after 118 days, sacked on the 1st of January. So he made it through to the new year, having come in. Of course, we did 3 years and 40 days. So Pochettino. So as it stands, but Martin Rennie, who had been the caretaker manager when I left, brought him back in, and he stayed there for the rest of the season. Obviously, no new manager at the moment, so we'll see when we jump to the start of the season. We'll see whether they've actually got a new manager or stuck with Martin Rennie. Champions League wise, didn't qualify. Basically, they were up against Barcelona, PSV Eindhoven, and Lyon. Won 2 matches, both games against Lyon. Drew against PSV Eindhoven, and they lost to PSV Eindhoven away and Barcelona both home and away. So if you're not going to beat teams, then you're not going to qualify. So I guess they went through to the Europa League. Let's have a look down the list. FA Cup 3rd round, they beat Wigan 2-0. Tammy Abraham and Min Son in that one. 4th round, a 4-0 win against Leyton Orient. Jamil Mazulia, Harry Kane, and Min Son scoring 2. Yep, Europa League first knockout round against Gent of Belgium. A 3-0 win there, and a 5-2 in the return. So it was 8-2 on aggregate in the first knockout round. Second knockout round, Gladbach 2-0 at home, 2-1 away from home, meant a 4-1 on aggregate. In the 5th round of the FA Cup, went through against Newcastle on penalties and immediately played the quarter-final against those arch rivals Liverpool and lost, which was at Anfield. So, yeah, there you go. Say no more. And then in the quarter-final of the Europa League, Inter lost 1-0 away, and Inter managed to do a job on them, and it was a 0-0 in the home game, so got knocked out of the Europa League in the quarter-final. Not exactly the sort of season that you wanted, really, was it? So it all fell to bits in those last dying parts of the season. So that's how the season panned out, really. Transfers wise, let's have a quick look. That's where we got up to, I think, before we left. And yeah, I'm not sure how many of these went out before we went, actually. Did any of these go out? I think we got up to Sessignon and Davis. Parrott went. I think that's probably about as far as we got, there or thereabouts. But coming in, nobody else coming in the summer. As we pretty much know, we were very difficult to get players in the summer, but looks like did some business, £82 million worth of business, in fact, in the January transfer window. Per Luigi Gallini, a goalkeeper from Lazio, coming in, and yeah, he'd been around, been on loan at Tottenham previously, so obviously got him back. That's when he was at Atalanta. Then went to 19 for £9 million to Lazio. Should have bought him then. And subsequently, 17 million it cost them to bring him in. Ivan Ilic, a 24-year-old Serbian midfielder, come in from Hellas Verona. Previously, he had a spell at Manchester City. In fact, Manchester City bought him and then loaned him out for numerous seasons. And after a loan to Hellas Verona, they bought him. Anyway, he's ended up at Tottenham for £32.5 million. Mateus Nunes, a 26-year-old Portuguese midfielder. So it looks like we're shoring up that midfield. Nunes coming in. He come in from Sporting Lisbon, where he spent most of his career, apart from Estoril and Ecrancy. Anyway, he's now at Tottenham, £32.5 million for that. Going outs then, Kwarteng has gone on loan to Welling, Scarlett on loan to Sheffield United. I'm not sure any of these were done. And Tanganga went eventually to Leicester. In fact, I think we did do down to there. Han Noah Masengo went for £1.1 million. I think we picked him up on a freebie, did we not? We did pick him up on a free, so made £1 million out of him. That's not too bad business, is it? Paskowski went to Sheffield Wednesday on loan. Brandon Bryn War. That's interesting because he was down as a player of potential, but he's gone to Stoke for 145, expected to be 185 million pounds. And Davison Sanchez, who we brought in, I seem to remember, came in from Ajax for 39 million. I think he was with us actually when we joined. We weren't here that long. Anyway, he's gone out to Brighton. He had moaned about going somewhere, and he eventually got that move. £16 million total income of £67 million. So the offset of that is not too bad, actually. I reckon that's about 15 million by my calculation, if my maths is right. So that's the transfers up to the transfer window for this, which on the 1st of June isn't quite open yet. So we will have another look, though, as we look down. Right, I don't think there's much more to tell. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump forward slightly. And when I jump forward, I'm going to come back and show you right on the start of the new season. Well, you come back and join us right at the start of the new season. And as you'll see, have been playing in the FIFA World Cup. And they ended up in 4th place because they had played, if we go back, right at the end of the season, played Palmeiras and beat them 2-0. Palmeiras. And then as they progressed through that, CF Monterrey was a 4-0 win in Group G. And then in the quarterfinals, they beat Liverpool in extra time, 3-2. Min Son with 2 goals. And Andeth getting the winner, by the looks of it, on 104 minutes. Splendid stuff. And then in the semi-final were knocked out by Real Madrid on penalties. So didn't have a bad time, all in all. And then Paris Saint-Germain, a 1-1 draw with them, but losing on penalties in the 3rd place playoff. Harry Kane getting the goal from that one. And, yeah, that was possibly a bit disappointing. The rest of pre-season, all in all, not too bad by the looks of it. Only drew that one. Otherwise, they won all of their other games, including games against Dortmund and Sevilla. So, yeah, all in all, had a good trip. And it looks like they've kicked off the Premier League season with a 2-0 win against Leeds United. Min Son and Jamal Mazulia in there. Fulham looked like they got promoted from the Championship because I can't see Wolves, basically. So that's how that season has started. They've got no draw for the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup as yet. Right. Transfer history. Let's see what transfers have been brought in. Right. After Mateus Nunes, Harry Maguire was brought back in June from Manchester United for £15 million. That means there was an offset of 30 million in the end. Harry Maguire, of course, who's been around a little bit. Manchester United for a number of seasons, was at Leicester prior to that, then Hull, but spent a lot of his time at Manchester United. But they brought him in, obviously, to shore up defence a little bit. In fact, what we will do in a moment, we will have a look and see if we can have a look and see what the team looks like now. They've also brought in Luis Maximino. He is a 26-year-old Portuguese goalkeeper. He's come in from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, where he's had 3 seasons. They sold him at a little bit of a loss. Prior to that, he was at Grenada and then Sporting Lisbon. So Luis Maximino. Danielson Fortes comes in from Troyes for 650,000. He's a 19-year-old. Obviously, got big expectations of him doing stuff. He is a midfielder, another midfielder. Previously at Troyes, spent all his time at Troyes. So that's where he's been. And Jordi Schuiten from Bologna. He's come in. He is a 28-year-old Dutch midfielder. Likes to play deep. So probably will fit whatever system they are running now. Let's have a look. I didn't want to do that, did I? Career stats wise, he was at Bologna, as we said, 2.2 million. So they've made a tidy profit out of that. Was at Den Haag, Telstar, Excelsior, all in Holland. Then went to Bologna and spent a number of seasons at Bologna before he has made his. I was going to say he's made his Tottenham debut. Has he made his Tottenham debut? It doesn't look like it actually. So 28-year-old player. So that's ins, outs, Dembele, Skip, Bergwijn, Kuifer, Galini. Oh, so Pierluigi Galini was brought in here for 17 million. They've sold him on to Lazio. In fact, he come from Lazio. They've sold him back to Lazio for 15.5 million. What the heck is that all about? And that will explain why Maximino has come in. Not quite sure what Not quite sure what that was all about. There you go. Well, Galini's gone and Harvey White has gone as well. £18 million coming in, £31 million sold. So about a £13 million loss on the overalls there. So that is how that is looking. So this is the formation they currently got, playing with a defensive midfielder. Maximiano in goal. Castile's now on the bench. Hernandez, Romero, Upamecano, Emerson Royal, Illich, Divine. It's good to see him still there. Alongside Nunes, Son, Mazulia, and Kane is our attacking force. Castile's Maguire, Koeman, Abrahams, Schuiten, Sewell, Ali, Scarlett, and Lo Celso are all there or thereabouts. It looks like Hernandez has got he's coming back from injury actually. So that's where he is at. If we go to the Premier League, let's have a look and see what the season preview thinks. As you'll see, the 3 players in the Dream 11 this year, Upamecano and Mazulia, who were there last year, but Kane now is actually in the Media Dream 11. So that's good news. Is there anybody else there from Tottenham? No. Expectation this season is 4th again. 4th last season, 4th this season. So expectation is there for them to qualify. The other thing we were going to do, which we'll go back to Tottenham, and we'll have a look. Managers. Pep. Pep has arrived. So that's going to be interesting then. Pep Guardiola has arrived at Tottenham Hotspur. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. So Pep Guardiola replaces Pochettino, who is still unemployed. Not surprised. Pep Guardiola. Where did he come? His history. Tells you on here somewhere, doesn't it? Yes. So he was at Manchester City, went to Juventus, would you believe? And then he's come to Tottenham, via Juventus from Manchester City. So he finished at Manchester City. I think we knew that he'd gone from there. Went to Juventus, spent a couple of seasons there. He's now at Tottenham. Pep is manager. So that's how that ended up. Martin Rennie didn't do a bad job. 58% wins in his time there. I think it was 14 wins, 5 losses and 5 draws in his time in charge. And 1 cup win, the Italian Youth Cup. Sure, really not bothered too much about that, to be fair. Right. Don't know that there's a great deal more we can tell you out of that lot. That is pretty much how it has panned out. And they are off to a good start. And let's be interested to see what Pep actually does to them during his stay at Tottenham. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, don't forget to leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That will keep you up to date with all that's happening on this channel with FM23 just a couple of weeks away now. We'll be announcing very shortly our new series and our beta save. So keep tuned for that, shall I say. The last couple of episodes of Making Tottenham Hotspurs Again will be out on Friday and next Tuesday at 4:15 p.m. More about Friday's episode in just a moment. And if you want to keep up to date with all that's happening on this channel, you need to follow me on Twitter at JustOffsideFM. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. A bit of an update of how they got on. Not too bad, I suppose, but would like to have seen them do better in a way. What we're going to do is we're coming back for episode 63 on Friday, and we're going to jump 5 years forward. Well, 5 years since we left, and we're coming back at the end of the 2029-2030 season, and we'll be seeing how Pep has got on with them. Has he won that coveted Champions League and lots more silverware beside? Or will our absolutely fantastic season with Tottenham be the pinnacle of Tottenham's time in sort of 10, 20 years? We'll find out in the next episode or and the episode after that. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you again on the next episode on Friday. Until then, it's a very goodbye.